Welcome to the show. My name is Sherry Creso and I'm the host tonight. Today we have an extra special episode because this is the first time that we're actually doing a show on this platform. We are going to have a video conference call with two very special guests of mine. One that has been with us before, and that is Alicia Voorhees from the Soft Landing. She is an environmental green expert on everything having to do with green baby, green pregnancy, living green, and having a family and a house that is environmentally as safe as possible for yourself and for your children. And her sister, Joni Whitman, I'm sorry, saying that wrong. Joni is going to be with us too, and together they run the Soft Landing, which is thesoftlanding.com, and they are both just incredible, wonderful people who just know the topic so well that we're going to be discussing tonight. Tonight's topic is a really important one that we haven't discussed, and after all these months, after all these years actually of doing the My Baby Expert show, you would think that, can we think of another topic? And one that was just has never been done before is, we've talked about toxins in foods, we've talked about toxins in creams and lotions, but we really haven't talked about air quality and what's going on in our homes. What is in our homes that we're breathing in the air that could be potentially harmful to our entire family and especially to our children. So it's extremely important, and Alicia and Joni are going to help us by going through some of the most important things that you're going to want to check out and be aware of and just stay conscious of so you can make better choices. We have two incredible sponsors tonight. The first is Naturepedic, and Naturepedic is the makers of the best, most amazing organic mattresses on the market. They do more than mattresses. They do mattress covers. They do changing pads. They do pillows, and they just really know the right way to make a product that is safe for the environment, safe for your child, and we're going to talk a lot about organic mattresses today on the show because it is something that you guys definitely want to know about and to consider. And then of course Earth Mama Angel Baby, and with the best non-toxic organic products for mother and baby, and we just love Earth Mama, and they are our other sponsors tonight. So very excited. I want to get started because I don't want to keep. They're waiting to be called. We're going to give them a call right now, and let's get Alicia and Joni on the phone with us. Okay, hold on a second. Here we go. Hi guys, how are you?
Hey.
Hey,
Hi.
welcome. So good to have you guys here on the show with us. Isn't this cool?
This is so cool. Neither one of us have done anything like this before.
Well, you're not the only ones, because this is the very first time on My Baby Experts that we're actually using this program where we can do 3 people in 3 different locations having a conversation, and you can see all of us. So how cool. I'm very excited.
It is exciting.
Yeah, I was saying, we were talking about it earlier, and we were saying, with technology, things can always go a little bit awry. It may not be perfect. Sometimes, and our audience is used to it. After all these years, they stuck with us no matter what happens. If the screen goes black, they hang out. But I think it's just more important that we get to see your beautiful faces and that we all get to really connect and really get to hear your wisdom for tonight's conversation, because it's such an important one. So.
Oh, thanks, Sherry. Of course, we love you.
Oh, love you too. Love you too. So let's talk a little bit. How about this, Alicia, Joni? Could you just introduce yourselves? Tell us about yourselves. Alicia's been on the show, but we haven't actually seen you speaking, so some people might not recognize until you start talking of who you actually are. And before we get started, so they understand your background and what you guys are up to.
Yeah, I tell you what, they're going to get to know how goofy I really am now. All the faces that I make while I'm talking, and they couldn't see me before.
You see what I have to deal with every week?
Oh yeah, I know, but you're just custom made for this, I think. I not so much. So anyway, my face is everywhere. I'm sure people get tired of seeing it after a little while, but we sure have made a lot of friends over the last 6 years online through the Soft Landing. And it's gotten more exciting lately because we're going local here in Kansas City, my sisters and I, and we're getting to meet a lot of these amazing moms that are going green and learning how to live more natural, less toxic lives. So that's exciting. Joni, you tell them what you do.
Awesome.
Well, I basically head up the going to face-to-face, the consultations, the ecological living consultations, where we do Safe Baby, and that could be anything from Safe Baby in the womb to Safe Baby out of the womb and in the home. And so we do baby proofing, and then we also do toxic home analysis, where we give advice on how to reduce toxic exposure and what's most important, because it can be so very overwhelming. And then we also make a lot of connections with local vendors who are making these amazing safe products. And we get those in front of moms who are looking to support the local economy. And so we have lots of areas where we're working locally, and then, of course, always online, nationwide.
Absolutely. And what you just said just struck me as, this really is a sign of how things have changed so much, because when we thought about years ago making our homes safer, we thought of baby gates, and we thought of electrical outlet covers, and we thought about all the most obvious, visual things that you could see were safety hazards, and they still are, of course. We've talked about that several times. But one of the topics that we've never talked about is the indoor air quality, and what actually are our children breathing in? What are we bringing into our home that is affecting the quality of the air that they breathe? And how can that potentially affect their health? I think that, you guys recently wrote a newsletter about pool toys. And when I was reading it and reposting it, I was thinking to myself, yeah, those things stink. I mean, you take it out of the package and you could smell it. You could really smell it. And it's like, what are we thinking? What is that smell that we have coming off of that? And, it can't be anything good. So
no, that's a really good example, Sherry, of the smell. It has to be something, right? And Absolutely. It's overwhelming sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and what you're talking about right there is a really amazing example of another toxic plastic, and PVC. Vinyl number 3. It's everywhere, and it off gases every single time you buy it.
Yeah. Wow.
So, it's, if you think about it, it's in our bibs, it's in our flat mats, and it's in our shower curtains. And, it's even in our flooring. It's everywhere. And the crazy thing about PVC is it's so darn durable that sometimes it doesn't seem like there's a really great alternative. But it's kind of, you gotta look by product, and just check it out and see what you can find in the way of alternatives for that.
So, yeah.
So, but back to, go ahead.
No, it brings up a point, because, there's going to be a lot of people who watch, and every time I do the episodes on, there's chemicals in this and there's chemicals in that, and then everybody starts to say, well, oh God, la, 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 I don't want to hear it, how am I going to make these choices? What am I going to do instead? And, I think it's really important to make the point here that we know, and we've said this before, we cannot live in a bubble. But not having the knowledge and the information to make better choices, to reduce at least, to start, eliminating where you can, you really are left with no real choice. I mean, without knowledge, there's no choice. So I think that's where everybody's listening really has to be tonight as we have this conversation, because, of course, we're going to go over all kinds of things, and then people are going to say, well, what am I supposed to do instead? And I mean, like you said in your article about pool toys, not too many other alternatives.
Yeah.
But being aware, and the amount of exposure, and then, like you said, allowing it to, using them, older ones, so that they breathe off, right? They off gas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there is a way to live in this world. We just have to choose our battles.
Yes.
And pick our priorities, and there was an interesting comment left on that article that I thought was very legitimate.
Yeah.
But she said, why should anybody buy a product with PVC in it? And sometimes you just can't avoid it. So then you need to know okay, well, what's the safest version of PVC, and how can I make it less toxic for my family?
Yep.
Yes.
Alicia, you were saying, go ahead, Joni.
I was just going to say, like we've always told anyone that comes to us and asks about this information, is the slightest changes make large impacts in your home. And so if you can just focus on one PVC product that you use that's regular to replace it, or maybe not use that one and choose to use a different alternative product, you can make that big of an impact. And so it's kind of just, what shade of green do you want to go? Because any shade is a great start.
Yeah. It's really great. And people are becoming so much more aware as they are more careful about what foods they're eating, reading labels better, using the right kinds of lotions and creams on their children, changing to cloth diapers from disposables. And then this is just one more thing to be aware of as you're doing all those great things for your child.
Yes, and that's exactly right. It's all about starting somewhere. We all have to start somewhere. Yes. And then it's a journey and making progress, And another thing we like to remind people is everybody's a different shade of green and we love them all. And sometimes, we like to start our information at the kindergarten level, and not for that to be a put down. But we really do have to get a grasp on the things that are the most worrisome, and then start there. And then it's just a little bit at a time, a step at a time, and it can be done, and we can all live healthier lives.
Yeah, I've really seen that in my own home and with my own children, over the years. Just from doing this show over the last couple of years, meeting so many great people like yourselves and other experts. With each show, we make a little more change in our house, and I can see big differences in what we're doing that over time don't seem that big because we've done them slowly, we've adjusted, we found alternatives, and now I can see that we've come a long way. We've really come a long way. One thing that was really interesting to me that you guys mentioned when we were talking earlier before the show was how bad the air quality actually is in the home. Could you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's surprising, especially when you consider that we spend 90% of our time inside the house. Yeah. That's a little bit shocking, but that's a well-documented fact. Unless you're, the most awesome mountain climber and you take your whole family to do that, which most of us don't. We spend our time sleeping in the home, and we eat in the home, and especially a lot of us that work at home, and we homeschool our kids too. Yeah. So there, we're here all the time, and sometimes we're outside, but most of the time we're not. So the EPA has said that the indoor air quality is 2 to 5 times worse inside than it is outside.
Oh gosh.
And you think about that, that's even compared to smog. Wow. And those exhausts, the exhaust that we gripe about as we're driving down the highway, breathing that, diesel fumes and all that, it's worse inside. So it is something that we need to be concerned about.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you would think about it if you were out on the freeway and you were breathing in fumes from the car, but somehow when you're safe sitting in your own home, sleeping in your own bed, you're not really thinking about what's in the mattress that I'm actually sleeping on and breathing in all night, or when I'm in the shower, what's actually, next to my body on this curtain.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, we often talk, and I know you do too, Sherry, about tackling the things, especially with children, because they're so much more susceptible that they eat and that go on their skin because they absorb that, but a lot of times we don't realize what they're actually breathing in. Yes. And that's another very important source of toxic chemicals.
Yes.
So Joni's kind of our expert on mattresses. If we want to jump into that, I'd love to hear. She's done a lot of research.
And it seems like it's the one place where they're going to spend the most amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yes, well,
we lost Joni for a minute just as she was about to speak, and so we're back now. So go ahead, Joni. Sorry for the interruption.
No, that's fine. We were just going to be talking about mattresses and why they're an issue that you need to really consider in your home when you're going to buy a new one or with the existing ones that you have. And all the mattresses that you have, especially for your children, are going to be covered in vinyl in the cribs, and vinyl is a form of PVC. And so this stuff is off-gassing, and then not to mention that there's foam in them as well. Which causes, with the flame retardance issue, and you've got your PVC off-gassing, the children are laying, especially babies, which is an area that we focus on a lot, laying face down or face up, hopefully, and breathing in these chemicals. And they've actually done a lot of research and have been coming to the conclusion that this is what is causing SIDS. It could be a very big cause of sudden infant death syndrome. So what we recommend, of course, is on the high end, if you've got the money to spend, you want to go get an organic mattress. And of course, Naturepedic is our favorite because they do a wonderful job with their flame retardants and using the safest possible flame retardants out there. But say you don't have that kind of money and you can't do an certified organic mattress, you can always go to the Green Guard certification, and they've got several levels of certification there. And I know Simmons has a mattress that's an affordable mattress that has one of the levels of Green Guard certification, and you can buy that. But then you don't want to stop there. You want to go ahead and you guys have probably heard the hubbub about mattress wrapping, which I thought was a cute way to say it, but basically an enclosure that zips around your mattress. And you probably have had these in the past when you've had trouble with, possible weddings in the middle of the night with your children because they're waterproof. But Babe Safe is a brand that we really love, and they make a print size and then a larger size. And then you can also get other brands that are free, that are made from polypropylene. And there's Allergen Ease. And you can use those to encase your mattress, which keeps the fumes inside. And I'm using a cotton towel laid on the mattress, on the top part of the mattress, and then you put your mattress wrapping on it. Then you are encasing all of those fumes, and you don't have to worry about them coming out into the air when your child is sleeping and breathing them in and getting toxic exposure from them. And of course, prior to even putting it in their room, if you were to buy a new mattress, leave it in the garage, unwrapped for 2 weeks, and let it air out for a while. And then don't buy used mattresses if you can, because the older the mattresses are, they start to break down and they lose then the chemicals out. They slough off into the air. So stay with a new mattress, organic if you can. If you can't, go ahead and look for a Green Guard certified, like a Simmons. And then use your wrapping. Use your mattress wrapping with your cotton towel.
Awesome. Your voice faded out a little bit, and this information is so important. I just want to hit on the most important points of what you said, because there was so much good information that you just gave us. And I know that everybody who's watching is like sitting there with their notes, like, what did you just say? I could just hear it already. So I just want to quickly go over again what we're talking about. What Joni was saying was that it's important because now you had said there's strong evidence to show that it's possibly linked to SIDS.
Yes.
Yes, and that the fumes that are coming off of these mattresses are, they're measurable fumes from the flame retardants that are used. Your baby is lying either face down or face up, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's surrounding their face and they're breathing it. And they're doing it day after day, night after night for years, for several hours a day. And we've seen studies that have shown that there's negative effects on their health from this. Correct?
Exactly. And it's also coming from the PVC in the mattress. And then, they always said lay them on their back to prevent SIDS. And of course, the reason that works, according to the study, is that they're face up. So their face isn't in the mattress breathing the chemicals in. So yeah, it's definitely, I believe there's a complete connection here, and that we've got to reduce this chemical that they are lying on and absorbing and breathing into their skin, into their lungs.
Absolutely. Well, it makes so much sense. When we think about the whole concept of turning a baby on their back, of why did that help? Mm-hmm. I've always thought, with the fumes that are in these mattresses, why did we see a reduction in SIDS by not having them lay on their bellies, which is how babies have slept for, thousands of years. We never had these chemicals before. Why do babies sleep better on their bellies? Because they love to sleep on their bellies, but can they really, how do they do with these amount of chemicals that they're breathing in? So it's pretty horrendous. I just want to make sure, maybe Alicia, would you be able to just review again what Joni was saying about the wrapping?
Yes. What Joni was saying is there are covers out there, basically. Babe Safe is a company that makes a great one. But you can get one that is a complete encasement around the mattress, and that helps an awful lot in just preventing those fumes, especially from the PVC. Coming up and off-gassing in the baby's face. And it's called mattress wrapping. And if you do a search online on Google, you'll find a lot of information about it. Yep. And you can also use organic cotton towels, as a barrier, and then with another waterproof layer. Yep. So there is something you can do if you can't afford one of the really expensive organic cotton mattresses. Yep. So that's good.
And if you can, I would say, as far as my recommendation, if you're going to spend your money on anything in your baby's nursery, if you're going to spend it on one item, then it would be on a good quality, brand new organic mattress. And usually, the one that we recommend is from Naturepedic. Not all.
Yeah, we love Naturepedic.
Yeah, we do too. Not all organic mattresses are made the same way.
No, they're definitely not. And, they've done a good job. Naturepedic has at using more natural flame retardant too. So that's really good.
That's awesome.
And they actually have a lot longer.
What?
Yes.
It's waterproof, and they have a longer life because they don't use wool as their flame retardant, so it doesn't break down in their mattress. So it's definitely, when you're spending big money on a mattress, you want it to last. And that's why we really love Naturepedic for that reason.
Awesome. Well, Naturepedic is our sponsor tonight, so I'm sure they're going to be really happy with this conversation.
Woohoo! We didn't even know that.
See? We didn't even know, and you love them.
No.
So that's perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I'm sure they'll be really happy to hear it. And it's all in complete authenticity that we are endorsing the brand and the product itself. So that's great.
For sure.
Yeah. One more thing you said was that don't buy a used mattress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll explain it since Joni goes in and out a little bit, but polyurethane foam, there's just kind of a slew of chemicals that are used to create that polyurethane foam. Now, I know that moms are going to instantly think, of the polyurethane that are in some cloth diapers. Yes. In the covers, but don't panic. Polyurethane, the flat sheeting is a little different, than the polyurethane foam. So polyurethane foam often has, as we've said many times, flame retardants bonded to it. It also has some other issues, like some toxic glue, like formaldehyde-based glues, adhesives. And there are some other reasons, but basically as the mattress gets older, if it has polyurethane foam in it, it does start to crumble and break down, and then that fluffs off and, floats right into the air that your baby's breathing. Wow. So just something else to keep in mind.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, so what else? Yeah. What? It's just, I think to myself, I think the question that really comes up, and as we go forward, what people want to say, and this is what they always ask, is, well, how can they get away with that?
Oh my gosh. Here's the $1 million question, right?
Yeah. It's like
the truth of the matter.
Believing it. They have a hard time believing that what we're saying is true, because how could they possibly get away with this?
Yes, and the reason they can get away with it is because there are so many thousands of new chemicals brought to market each year that are not studied, and they're not proven to be safe. The weight of the proof is not on the manufacturer, or the producer of the chemical. It comes to market. It goes through very little testing, especially testing in the way that we're looking at. We want to know about the bioaccumulative properties of a chemical. Well, we don't always know, especially when the chemical is brand new. It couldn't have been tested long enough to really be studied to see how it affects human health, to see if it's a carcinogen, to see if it's an endocrine disruptor that's going to change the way that your baby's hormones function. Yeah. Kind of like BPA. We're all well aware of that. Yeah. That chemical was discovered in 1930. So these chemicals they've been around for a little while, but not very long. And, we're just getting to the point, I believe, where our researchers can actually link the effects of those endocrine disrupting chemicals back to physical changes in human beings. So anyway, the way, and we can talk about regulation, of course, that's something that needs to be done and pursued, but I'll tell you what, to me, is more powerful than anything, and that's a grassroots movement where we vote with our dollars and we tell these manufacturers, we don't want your junk chemicals. We're going to buy products from companies that we trust, that we know have gone the extra mile to have their chemicals tested, and they're trying to do right by our children.
Yeah. Amen. Amen.
Yeah, amen.
Amen. Amen. So, okay, so what other products like that we would see commonly in the house would be like your next biggest concern?
Okay, I think we have to look at cleaning supplies, and we all know that babies are gonna, it's a well-known fact, they're gonna crawl up to the cabinet under the kitchen sink and open it and drink the Drano. So we're careful about that part, right?
Yeah.
I know, but we know better, so we don't let that happen.
Yes.
What we don't think about sometimes is some of the other cleaning products that we're using. Let's say a lot of people, they may be moving away from bleach, but a lot of people really believe that's the only super powered cleaner that you can use to, say, get rid of mold. And it's just not true. So it is something that, if you use it like a teaspoon in a gallon and you're just using it to wipe down things, that's fine. When you're using it in high-powered amounts, especially like in a spray bottle where it's an aerosol, say we're using Tilex, the good old mildew version. Yeah. That stuff is highly volatile, and there have been recent studies completed showing a direct link to asthma in children just from the use of aerosol bleach.
Wow.
So, and then if you go and you want to mix it a little bit, mix it up, do a little chemistry experiment, throw a little ammonia in there too. And you've got a very dangerous situation. Mm-hmm. So, and maybe people know that, but you know what, something to also realize is that vinegar, mixed with, some other lemon and, there's hydrogen peroxide that all actually can accomplish the same thing.
Yes.
Once you learn that you can use alternatives that are safer, it's not so overwhelming. And then there's another thing about the cleaning side of things. There was a recent study done by the, NRDC, National Resources Defense Council, about dryer sheets, which I have to admit I was a little shocked when I heard about it. They found 25 volatile compounds in those wafting out the dryer vent and into our homes.
Yes.
And those are also linked to asthma as well, and other problematic symptoms.
We've been talking about dryer sheets for a while, not so much for what we're breathing in like you're bringing up. I'm not surprised, but for the amount of toxins that are in those dryer sheets. If you are a dryer sheet junkie and you are watching this program right now, I encourage you to stop, to immediately cease using dryer sheets. If you knew what was in it and the rendered animal fat that they use to create this stuff and the toxins that are in it, that it's just disgusting. You don't want it rubbed onto your clothing. We talk about it a lot when we talk about cloth diapering because you can't use it in your dryer or make your diapers waterproofed. And if you find that you're using your towels and they're not absorbent, it's because there's actually a film on everything that you're washing, and that has to do with the dryer sheets.
Yes.
Yeah. We switched over to the dryer balls, to the little balls. And my clothes are as soft as they can be.
Yeah, and another thing that I do is throw a little baking soda in the wash load, and it really softens things up and it makes them smell fresher.
Yeah.
So, just make sure if you're going to do the dryer balls, either use the wool ones or, PVC-free ones, because there are a lot of them that are made from PVC.
Absolutely. Yeah, there you go. You're thinking you're doing one thing and then...
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's just like you said, just paying attention, to what's going on.
For sure.
Yeah. Another part of cleaning to me is the air freshener saga. Does anyone still use air fresheners? I mean, I use essential oils in a spray bottle.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't do it. Although there is a company here locally that we like called Zum, and they do make whiff sticks that use essential oils that they kind of, evaporate out from a little bamboo stick. Yeah. And so those are really neat. But that's another thing. Air fresheners are a mess. And there was another recent study done that showed 14 of the air fresheners tested actually had 12 of them contained high levels of phthalates, which we know are also endocrine disruptors. So no to air fresheners too.
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah, we just let the house stink,
That's so funny. No, you just, how about some open windows, if you don't have allergies.
Fresh air.
Fresh air goes a long way.
Speaking of that, ventilation is a big issue, right?
Yes, it is. It's a very big issue, and people don't realize it. I didn't even realize it. We just recently bought an older home that needed a ton of work. So we come in and we start rehabbing, and we got to paint. Oh, my gosh. Let's talk about the VOCs and paint, for heaven's sakes, and try to find one that really is low VOC and non-toxic. That's a little tricky, too. But even if you're doing that, you still need to have windows open, and we installed fans, everywhere that we could, because ventilation is so important. And even sometimes, we recommend you have your ducts clean when you've moved into a new home, because I'm sure you won't be surprised at this, but when you have vinyl flooring and you've got your flame retardant filled couch, which is made of polyurethane foam, you've got your curtains. The curtains usually have flame retardants and formaldehyde to keep them from creasing, by the way. All that stuff sloughs off and ends up in the dust on your floor. And so we don't just touch the dust, we breathe the dust. So, and Joni always does this when she does consultations in the home with parents. Just dusting alone goes a huge, huge way to reducing your toxic exposure.
Yeah. Joni, would you recommend carpets or floors? Floors over carpet?
Did we lose her?
I think we lost. Every time I ask
lost her.
Joni just doesn't want to answer the questions. Every time I ask Joni a question, did you notice that?
Yeah, it's her fault. She just keeps running away. But yeah, I can answer that one. I hate to keep talking. I think you have to have a good balance.
She's looking good in the corner over there.
But she look good.
She left.
Look, now she left.
Now she left. I'm going to call her back. Hold on a second. Here we go.
Okay. Yeah.
She
didn't like your question.
That couldn't have been any more perfect.
Look, she's not going to answer either. She's giving you the cold shoulder.
She doesn't want to answer. Okay. Well, hopefully she'll call us back.
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead. So
that sounds good. Well, let's talk about carpet versus flooring.
Yeah.
And I think, amazingly enough, there are good carpets out there. There is actually the Carpet and Rug Institute. They have a green label now so that you can actually find low VOC and low emission carpets. So they have great cushion. They have good fibers, and they also have low VOC glues and adhesives. So one thing that I've learned about carpet is that it can actually work as a filter for your home, surprisingly enough. But you need to keep it clean.
Okay.
Yes, and but flooring is also awesome too. Obviously, hardwoods, and then but not vinyl flooring.
Right.
That's like a big no-no.
Right.
But we do recommend it. Linoleum, shockingly enough, is very eco-friendly, and it's kind of a throwback, to the 1950s.
Yes.
But it's a really good choice, so I often recommend that.
That's good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. So you just don't want the vinyl flooring. PVC is well known for its dioxin, which is a carcinogen, and for its phthalates again, and also lead. They use lead as a stabilizer in vinyl flooring.
Wow.
So not something you want your little baby crawling around on and breathing. So.
Yeah. No, it's good to know, and also to understand that the carpet can act as a filter.
Yeah, isn't that surprising? I learned that from my husband. Surprisingly enough.
I think I can get Joni back. I'm going to try to get Joni back
good.
right now. Hold on a second.
Yes, let's do.
Let's see. Joni! There she is. Are you back? I don't know how you did that. As soon as I tried to ask you a question, you just disappeared. It's like you just froze and then you said, all right, I'm out of here. What else, Alicia and Joni? What other things should we be watching for?
One major area that is an easy thing to change in our home to improve indoor air quality would be lose the Teflon nonstick pans, cooking pans. And I know a lot of people are aware of that, but they have their favorite pan that they don't want to let go because it's so
true.
But, when that Teflon heats up, it releases chemicals into the air and makes that indoor air quality so poor. And it's just so worth going ahead and tossing that Teflon pan and replacing it with a safer alternative.
And what would you replace it with?
Now, there's several brands. Alicia, I think that brand is not coming to mind. But do you remember?
Yeah, actually, there are probably, I want to say there's at least 10 different brands. But, I think I would focus a little more on the styles.
Yeah, what do we looking
because
for?
if you can... Cast iron, I love my grandma's old cast iron pan. And then there are some people that, they go, well, you're getting too much iron. And I just would rather have the iron than anything else. You can always use stainless steel.
Yeah.
But sometimes you run into a little bit of heavy metal, I'm not talking about music here, but a little bit of heavy metal, there. So you do need to find the right manufacturer. So they do, nickel and cadmium testing and all that good stuff. But I'll tell you what we landed on. My mom bought all of us girls vintage Pyrex glass. They're called Visionware glass. They're 100% glass.
Wow.
And we can put them in the oven and in the microwave and on the stove and in the fridge. I mean, you can't get any better than that as far as I'm concerned. Isn't that neat?
Joe, you don't even see
they're a little
He's
tricky.
sitting over here taking notes.
Is he? I'm not a very good cook. Joni's the cook in our family along with our youngest sister, Becky. And I had to call them and go, now, I can't cook on this thing. I'm used to a nonstick pan. And so they had to teach me how you have to, it is different. You have to heat it up, more before you put anything on it so that it doesn't stick as well. And you do have to use more fats, but I don't worry as much about fat so long as it's healthy fat,
Yeah, absolutely.
So I like it. I'm really getting good at cooking in my glass pan now. So
I think you're going to have to give me some video directions. We're going to have to do we're going to have to do like a cooking show together and teach everybody.
Yeah,
how to cook
for
on
sure.
Glass, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I'm not going to lie. I burn things and, but you can just scrub it right back off. It's really great because you don't have to be gentle with it like you do a non-stick surface.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah. No, I think it's a really good point. And I think that people just keep using their same old pans year after year. And even what's being scraped off into the food as you're cooking on them, using the wrong utensils on them, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what they say about Teflon? The reason that it's worrisome is because a lot of times we kind of flash heat our pans. Yeah. So it's when it gets to a higher level above 350 degrees. And I don't know about your stove, but mine does this little spot heating thing. So spots get hotter than they should. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a gourmet kitchen. But so that's the time where they can start creating actual fumes, that can off-gas them. So.
Wow. Gotcha. Are there any kind of really good quality air filters that you would think of using in a home? Is that something that you would ever consider recommending?
I would. I would. I can't say that I've done a whole ton of research on it myself, so I can't just whip them out, or I would. But one thing I have done some research on is plants, house plants. There's amazing house plants that can actually clean the air. They call it scrubbing the air. And, you have to have quite a few, which, Joni knows very well that plants come to my house to die. So I have to repopulate
for the plants.
I am. It's like terrible. They give them to me for my birthday, and then she comes to check on them, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, we have to repopulate on a regular basis." So she's also the green thumb in the family. So I just have her come doctor my plants up. But they really do help. They actually exchange air just like the trees do outside, and they're very healthy.
Awesome.
One tip I would say too, that's really a great idea, is have your kids give their teachers a plant and take it to school. Although it's not enough to do the whole air in their classroom, but it makes a difference, And if each of the kids give a couple of plants, the teacher will be wondering why, but we'll all know that the children have cleaner air in their classroom.
Oh, that's so important. Yeah, you think about what we're actually breathing in the home, but what are our children actually breathing in school as well. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually a big area that we're focusing on now here in Kansas City with a greening initiative that we're working with schools and hospitals and daycares on, because we get this question so often. What can we do at school? Because I do so much at home, and then I send my kids off to school, and I know they're in a toxic environment all day long. So, it's definitely something to consider, and there are just little changes, like, for instance, the plant that you can do to make a big impact.
Yeah, no, it's such a good tip, and plants, that's such an easy way to do it, to actually clean the air using plants. One other thing that I know that I've done some reading about too is that there's lots of chemicals in our drinking water, and it's not just when we're actually drinking the water, but when we're standing in a shower. And the amount of that you're breathing in of those chemicals, they say that it's actually worse than drinking it.
Yes, that's what I've heard too. And I've heard one of my favorite local area naturopath doctors, he said he would rather see people get a whole house filter than just a water filter, so that you really have to take care of yourselves in the shower for what you're absorbing and for what you're breathing.
Exactly. It's one of the reasons why I'm bringing it up, because a lot of people think, I'm going to get a filter on my drinking water. And if you're considering something like that, really take a look at a whole house filter, which is what we're looking into right now. After finding out that, the amount that you're breathing in, what goes into the shower, in the environment, in the air that you're breathing in as you shower every day, or what you're absorbing into your skin, just bathing in it, or is submerging your children in it. It's unfortunate. Here's what everybody's got to know. We didn't cause this. We're just reporting on it, okay? Because, people are going to get angry.
Yes, so true.
So, and if you're listening to this show and you're thinking to yourself, oh, great, well, I can't afford this. I can't afford the mattress. I can't afford the filter. Pick something. Pick one thing. Try to avoid, try to keep the windows open. Try to ventilate. Try to keep, use better chemicals. You don't need to use the bleaches. This has nothing to do with being able to afford it or not afford it. This is about, like we said earlier in the program, reduction, awareness, knowledge, better choices, for no matter what your budget is. Obviously.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I love it. Everybody can dust, even though it's, exactly. I hate it, but we can dust.
Exactly. We can dust, and we could probably all afford linoleum too.
I know, man. Yeah. And the next time that we buy something, it's easier to go out and just say, hey, I'm going to go find this Green Guard certified thing, or I'm going to, if I call a carpet cleaner to have my carpets cleaned, and that's another thing that we need to pay attention to. We need them cleaned, yes, but they need to be using Green Seal certified products so that, that steam, that hot steam that they use, they need to use it to get it clean, but it also causes an aerosol to be created from the chemicals.
Yes.
So, find a carpet cleaner that does green cleaning.
Yep. And also, if you're going to have an exterminator come into your house too, you need to watch out about what kind of extermination, right? We never talk about that.
Oh my gosh. You are so right. That's Joni's big one. Go, Joan.
Yeah.
Go, Joan.
We have ants. Every spring we have ants in the house, and I just do nothing, and I'm like, these are our little friends every spring. They come and then they go. My children are very angry about the ants in the house, and I said, well, too bad. We're not doing anything about it. Mommy, you need to call somebody. You don't need to call anybody.
I know what you could do, and it's completely non-toxic, and I'm going to try to pronounce it so then Leisha can repronounce. But we have ants come visit every year as well. Yes. And this year I thought, okay, what can I do for these ants? So I went and have our other sister who does an amazing amount of research, and she wrote a post for our newsletter for the Soft Landing on diatomaceous earth. Is that right?
Yeah, you did it. Wow, diatomaceous earth.
Yeah, and basically that is just ground up fossil bones, and it's completely non-toxic. And ideally, you want to get the organic or pure food grade, so you don't have the additives that the non-organic would have. And it's so affordable. A big jug cost me $16. And I got out my strainer, and it's like powdered dust, and it's completely harmless to us. And humans for thousands of years have been ingesting this stuff to actually kill intestinal bugs within their body.
Wow.
And you can do this, but I just take and watch where the trail of the ants is and dust a little in their way. And what it does is it's really sharp because they're so small. Even though it's fine and dust powder like to us, it's really razory sharp to them. And, it's kind of sad to say, but it cuts their little bodies and they dehydrate. So,
you're so mean.
I use it in the garden. It's great.
So, we're going to have all the animal activists after us here.
Yeah. But that's okay. Sherry. Yes, for sure. But hey, you know what? I'll balance that out by saying my kids, we have wolf spiders around here.
Oh.
And my son lived in the basement for years at our old house. And I used to say, those guys, man, they eat those other spiders. You leave them. They're your pets,
Right.
And he did. He's like, oh, look, this one's like 5 inches around. It must be eating a lot of spiders, but I'm going to let it live.
Oh, you know what? I tell my children, hey, listen, we live in the woods. This is what comes with the territory. Leave them alone. They're not bothering you.
Yes, exactly. It's just like mice. You can keep them out if you just block them and put shove the little steel wool in there, and you don't have to have poison laying around your house.
Well, that's just really, it's the truth, and it's like, and then we wonder, like if we start putting all these chemicals throughout our house, we have pets, we have babies, we have children crawling around on the floors. It's really, really important that you're aware of it. And I think that sometimes we do things unconsciously. It's not like out of, it's not like we're thinking, oh, we're spreading poison and we're letting our children lick the floor. But it's the truth, and we're doing it without real thought. And that's exactly where, that's what this is all about, is really just having a conscious thought of like, oh, maybe this is not such a good idea. Maybe I want to reconsider this. And that's going to help you to really cut down and minimize for sure. I know for me, like it's changed so much over the years, just being aware.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. And it's true. And, a lot of the things we do are traditions. That you do them because your parents did them.
That's so true.
And then a lot of things have changed because it's just more modern. We have advanced, and so we don't. We do these things. We use the chemicals and we use the new products and all of that. But and Joni and I often tell people we like to say, let's go back. Back to the basics and see what's there. What did our grandparents do? Because they had a great way of doing things.
Absolutely. Oh, it's great. Well, you guys, this has been fabulous. What great information. Oh my God. I know everyone who's watching, their heads are spinning as usual, going, oh my God. What do I need to do? I'm not joking when I say Joe's been sitting next to me taking notes the entire night, like, He's going to chase you around the house now. We need to make some.
Now you're in trouble.
I'm in trouble. We need to take. No, it's not. The Teflon's gone. There's definitely, we've done well. We can do better. Let's put it that way. We can definitely do better.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I'm going to be starting with is Naturepedic makes a great mattress topper that I'm going to be adding on to my daughter's mattress. So that at least we'll have that organic barrier that's there too. And they also have the new pillows.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Their new organic pillows.
And do you know, Naturepedic will actually cut those mattress toppers to fit any size mattress. All you have to do is call it, and that's so hard to find. So you have an odd-shaped mattress or a situation where you need something unique, and you can contact them, and they will make it for you.
That's fantastic. Yeah, so even for your own bed.
Yes,
exactly. Yeah, or those little...
Will that be effective?
Sorry, I was going to say even... You go, Sherry. I'm quiet.
See, I have a hard time. I can't do that. So, do you think the mattress topper will help?
I do. The idea is you want to wrap it. So, I would double check and see if there's anything that fully encompasses it. But definitely a shield in between you and the mattress is a wonderful idea.
At least it's better than not doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And the pillows are not expensive, and that's something I definitely would consider as your child starts to sleep with a pillow.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I
remember
remember opening up some of these Tempur-Pedic style foam pillows.
Oh.
It smelled, and throwing
it
right in the garbage.
Yeah, memory foam. You'll remember that smell, I'll tell you.
Is that why they call it memory foam? Now I understand.
Yes, that's what I said.
You'll never forget the sting.
Nope.
Yeah. If maybe that's a good rule of thumb. If it smells weird, there's probably something not very good in it. Mm-hmm. If you take it out of the package and it's not smelling good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Definitely. You just need to look into it.
Something's making it smell. Right?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So guys, fantastic night. Thank you for doing our pilot episode here on video with us, with a 3-way call. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves tonight. This was really fabulous. We're definitely going to do it again. And I'd love to have you guys back. Remind everybody how to get to your website. It's thesoftlanding.com, right?
Mm-hmm.
And definitely, if you're not following them on Facebook, or if you're not checking out their website or subscribe to their newsletter, you want to make sure that you're doing that. All of our viewers are going to greatly appreciate the information that you guys that they received from you tonight. I know I did. And Joe's got his list ready. Okay. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful night. And for everybody out there, thanks again for watching another episode of My Baby Experts. Again, as usual, fantastic being with all of you. And we will see you again real soon. We love you. Ready? Going to blow a kiss like the dating game. Okay, we'll do it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Right.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.